Everybody to game number 2, Complexity versus Zenith. It is a very North American favorite crowd here. Complexity took game number 1 in convincing fashion. We are Luminous LD and so happy to be bringing you guys this game. Can Zenith bring it to a game 3? Or will Complexity take the clean 2-0 sweep? Well, to start things off, one thing is clear. Zenith do not want to deal with Fluff's Chen again.
Yeah, they don't, and it seems like Complexity, despite having a powerful Naga game, will be banning it because they don't have the first pick. And very surprising, actually, Zenith gave it away. Naga is one of those heroes that's been banned out the entire tournament.
Oh, yeah.
And you saw why, right? That last game was a good example of a Naga game.
It's as hard to deal with as a Darkseer because there's just a whole range of heroes that don't work against him. You pick up Queen of Pain, guess what? The net's going to ruin you. You pick up a hard carry that wants to build a BKB, guess what? The net's going to ruin you. You pick up a team that wants to find pickoffs, the sleep's going to save you. I mean, it's a hero that completely changes the way you want to play the game. And we saw it there. Darkseer and Naga both banned out by Complexity. All of Hannah Montana's signature heroes in the pool, they don't normally first pick them, but the Beastmaster, the Tidehunter are available. It doesn't seem, I've actually been wondering if a team's going to ban those out and just try and force him to play something different. So far, nobody's doing it.
Any particular reason why you're putting so much attention on Hannah Montana? I know he's a popular player.
Well, because he always finds a way to make an impact in the off lane. I mean, we've seen him get shut down like 1 or 2 times, and it's when they really push his lane aggressively. But he plays heroes like Tidehunter, Beastmaster. These heroes don't need that much to contribute in a big way to the team.
Okay, and looks like Rubik is going to be the 3rd ban here for Zenith. Not too much to read into at this moment. Do you think Zenith is phased at all about having that kind of loss?
There's a Templar Assassin in the pool right now.
Right.
So giving that away to Jo could be a problem. We're going to see. I think Zenith, they've had some experience before. They're going to be composed here. They're a very sort of emotional team up and down, but I mean, in terms of when they get going, they really get going. They didn't have that powerful start, but here, a lot of heroes that can have that start are available. Sand King, Leshrac, Queen of Pain. Those aggressive heroes might have more of a place in this game. It's an Invoker first pick. Speaking of heroes that can have a big impact, he certainly fits the bill.
Yeah, I mean, no matter what build, he is going to have an impact. Jack of all trades, yeah. Master of many is what we like to talk about.
Master of many, I like it.
Yeah, Master of many, he does quite a bit. And Invoker, to open up strat, you really don't know. You can't really prepare against it. It's just a hero. It's a good hero.
It has to be mentioned, there's a Morphling in the pool. It has to be mentioned.
I'm rolling my eyes here because
one of TC's carry heroes that he does like to play, but he's one of the more versatile carry players.
Definitely.
We've seen him on Dragon Knight, Juggernaut in the past, so I'm not saying he will play it, but it's a hero with a pretty high win rate in this event.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the versatility. It's not just those type of heroes.
Right.
There's a Tiny.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Juggernaut in the past.
How dare I forget,
so
really.
there's a lot of versatility on Complexity, especially on the carry slot. But for now...
There's also a Prophet and a Tinker in the pool, but no, it is the JOTA
yeah,
is the first
JOTA.
pick. There's a Venomancer available. I feel that might be worth a snap pick to counter it. But we'll have to see.
Are we going to see the matchup here between Invoker or Templar Assassin? I think this, I know I'm hoping for it, but I think this gives a big opening for an Axe solo mid against TA.
Oh, Battle Hunger is so good against TA. I'd mentioned Venomancer. Battle Hunger is also very powerful. And if anyone would ever pick an Axe, it's the Zenith squad.
It's right, the guy's right there here. So we'll wait
is.
and see. Leshrac is going to be the 2nd pick. I've seen Leshrac always being played as a support on Complexity. Do they kind of run it sometimes as
I've never seen them. I mean, if anyone would play it as a solo, it'd probably be Jo, and generally it doesn't. I mean, TC normally gets harder carries, more physical damage to for the most part. So I don't think it would be a support. Oh, boy. It's the Morphling and the Venomancer, the real strong hard carry, and then, of course, the 4 ways to remove refraction charges. You still get the damage if you're TA. But you're going to have a hard time finding kills if that Venomancer is there with a good Plague or a good Venomous Gale.
Yeah, you got to be very, very confident in your TA player. I'm sure Fluff is on Jo. But when it's very easy for Zenith to draft a whole bunch of blinkers, draft people with good escape or draft good 4-stat buyers, and that's exactly what we see so far. Now, you could just, you could draft all the blink you want, but if you're getting one shot by Templar Assassin or Tiny, if that's the follow-up here, it doesn't matter.
We saw it from Ferrari's TA at the end of the group stages.
Yes.
They had some mobility skills, but you blink away, and those traps are so spammable, especially with Phase Boots and the Blink Dagger. You can outrun most of those heroes. Tidehunter is the pick for Complexity. Well, we know what Hannah Montana is playing now. Although, actually, I will say, if Beastmaster slips through, sometimes they'll throw Fluff onto that, so they have their options.
We've seen that in the group stage, but for now, we're in a 2nd draft. I know we're only 6 picks in. Any personal favorites in terms of the draft, how the draft is going?
I think Complexity has a little bit more ability to take a fight right now because they have the Tidehunter. Leshrac provides you some good AoE damage. TA doesn't need that many items to be a high-impact hero. At the same time, Zenith definitely have heroes to spread the map, to sort of look to hold on to their towers early. Strong defensive lineup for Zenith, and a lineup that I think if this goes late enough will be a lot scarier. But again, this is all theory crafty. It really depends on what they do the rest of the way. Enigma is in the pool. Panda gets banned. Is it possible Zenith is angling for that?
It's a possibility. I'm not sure myself, because again, Zenith is a team that is not known to run the same strat over and over again.
Right.
They're so versatile, so it's going to be hard to even guess what they're trying to do. I love Zenith's laning so far, though, because you know Morphling's going to bring you a powerful lane, no matter which lane he's in. Venomancer, again, same thing here. Invoker, again, he's going to... The tough matchup here, if we're going to see Invoker TA, that's going to be a tough matchup for the Invoker.
Yeah, Invoker really has no way to deal with that. That's where maybe Venomancer comes in the first few levels and shuts him down, drops some Venomous Scales. You can go for your smoke ganks. And TA will farm well in that lane, but a proper smoke gank or rotation in from the Venomancer can find you a kill.
Sure. It seems like the Enchantress is being banned out here, respecting the jungling, the offensive jungling from Zenith.
Yeah, interesting. Complexity is a team that loves their junglers, although they really prefer Chen. They're not as much a fan of the Enchantress. They like all the defensive firepower that it brings to the table. And I'm really curious what they're going to do the rest of the way. Are they going to go for another sort of backup plan? Is the TC tiny? Is there room for that in this game?
Why not? There's always room for a TC Tiny. That's all I'm saying. No, definitely they could run it on the bot. That's how they run it as well. Protect the lane. It definitely will fit with Templar Assassin quite well, both being great chasers. You could try to dodge one, but you can't really dodge both. TIE Hunter's already providing the lockdown, but Chaos Knight, see, Zenith is having a similar, like they have to focus all their attention running from TA. They can't be running from a Chaos Knight as well.
Right.
So
but
that
Tiny can fit.
Exactly. Tiny can fit right
the
in
way
there.
that TC builds them too, because he builds phase boots, he builds drums.
Yeah.
Sometimes even Yasha, and then usually he goes for the Ags. Once in a while he'll get the Manta completed first. But either way, a very mobile build. And
I know we're hyping up for Tiny. If
and then we're not going to
see Tiny, and everybody's...
There's no Tiny, guys. Nothing to watch here. The Beastmaster is the final ban from Complexity, so not wanting to deal with that initiation. Zenith, it seems they have two of their core farmers, the Invoker, the Morphling. I guess there's a slight chance Venomancer could go solo mid versus TA, but it doesn't really fit that well with their lane.
That's definitely a possibility. We haven't talked about too much, but historically in the past, Templar Assassin gets killed by Venomancer.
Oh, yeah.
Poison Sting, Poison Gate, every ability from Venomancer just does well against TA some way. But
even the ultimate, a lot of damage.
Definitely, but Jo as a TA player, I'm sure he understands the matchup perfectly. And
you know what I'm even thinking for Zenith? Maybe an offensive tri-lane Morphling and a Venomancer solo mid and an Invoker solo, but they pick up AA, so we'll see. Earthshaker, AA, and Morphling, that could be a pretty scary tri-lane.
Yeah, that can be. I just love the combo they have right now. Venomancer ultimate plus Ancient Aberration ultimate. Can you just feel the icy poisonous damage stacking through? Nobody can heal. And I just want them to see a lot of experience, a lot of levels on them. Sure, it's a level 6 ultimate, level 1 ultimate.
They need a lot.
It's not good enough. But when both of them hits level 11, it's a big game.
If they can. Now, if you run a tri-lane, which is what I was thinking might happen, that is going to slow down your levels unless you find the kills. If there's an Exhort Invoker on top of that, that one might give you the burst damage you need. There you go. It's a TC Tiny.
There you go. Again, you could run away from one, but you can't run away from both. And suddenly Venomancer, Ancient Aberration, that looked like pretty good picks. Now they're food.
But they could be food. It's really going to come down to positioning here. You know, there's some really cute combos. You can toss in your Tide Hunter. Who needs a Blink Dagger when you have toss into Ravage? You can toss in TA. She can meld immediately and then look to get kills that way. And you talked about the chasing power. TA really synergizes well with Tiny in that respect. Plus, TC's Tiny focuses on the physical damage. And that's where having the Minosaur from Meld can make a big impact.
A lot of heroes that could have damage over time, they're really making sure they want to bring down those refraction charges. Ancient Aberration, damage over time. Venomancer is just a big DOT hero. Same thing with Queen of Pain.
Right.
They also have a lot of bursts. We talked about the Ancient Aberration. Now Queen of Pain gets added to the list. Morphling's a great burst down hero. So they could focus down the hero once those refraction charges are gone. But who has a better AoE? Is it just simply the Venomous Scale and the Ultimate and the Ancient Aberration and the Sonic Wave, or is it just the TIE Hunter here?
Complexity have more ways to start the fight, but I would actually say Zenith have more guaranteed burst damage. A lot of Complexity's damage is going to come from TC getting items, as well as Jo getting a lot of levels.
And a Lich, a rare performance by a Lich. We've seen this in the Grip Stage one here from Complexity.
This is interesting.
Yeah, they want to run basically a dual lane top or dual lane bottom now since that they are in Dire. They're going to put IX Mike and Hannah on the bottom lane and make sure they keep denying, pull the lane back to their tower and make sure that he doesn't suffer too much harass.
Yeah, that could be very effective. Lich is a hero, you pick him for strong lanes. The ult is nice in team fights if you have perfect chain for us bounces, can be devastating. But it's going to be hard to find those bounces with Waveform on the table as well as the Blink from Loda.
Right.
And if you go for the Wex build, Invoker's looking pretty mobile in its own right.
They want him for the laning. Yeah, the Frost armor is a little bit weak here as well.
There's no melee.
Yeah,
there's no melee heroes to do
not
the
too much physical DPS. For now, we're waiting for all the players to select a hero. Here we go. Fluff and Stuff, the captain, handling Leshrac. Jo is going to be playing Templar Assassin. TC is going to be handling the Tiny. Hannah Montana on the top right now. Most likely will be rotating in bot. Is on the Tidehunter, and lastly, Ix Mike playing the support Lich.
Yeah, Sentry Ward's already picked up for him. They definitely want to make sure that they have vision control. Freedom, the support player for Zenith, headed towards top on that AA. Observers and Sentries for him. HY, the hard carry player. 9 tangos on his Morph lane, expecting some serious harassment as he is. He'll be playing that Morph, of course. XY going to be handling the Venomancer. We might see that tri-lane I was talking about. It looks like Ice is going to go bot, or mid lane, excuse me, as the Invoker. Seems to be going for the Exort build, and Loda is the Queen of Pain. So 2 very strong laning solos, and then a pretty explosive tri-lane in terms of finding the kills early.
Meanwhile, looks like, what is the rotation coming here? If you really want to have a tri-lane against the burst power of Zenith, what is the best way to draft this complexity lineup? I think they're going to just stick with they're just going to stick with Tiny and Leshrac up top, or you think they're going to rotate?
You know, they have a Morph lane as the farmer here, so they can be pretty flexible with where they move him. Actually, the thing that's interesting for me is, we didn't talk about it in the drafting stage, but TC, so this is a melee.
Thanks, guys.
The
Thanks.
horns.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
The horn has been blown in game as well. The rune is going to be spawning bottom. Regen will be picked up by Hannah. Not a big deal. But this is a melee damage dealer. And even Templar Assassin, pretty low range. They have a lot of ways to kite that hero.
Yep, definitely that's the case here. And that's the rotation here. They don't want to fight that tri-lane. It's too strong. And are we going to see the musical lane again? But this time here, Zenith. They want to go for some pickoffs as they're rotating.
Maybe just a nice little procession for Zenith. What are they up to? Blocking. Oh, man, they are blocking the safe camp, expecting the double pulls. This is something Complexity's done a lot of in their tri-lanes, but they're just abandoning top for the moment. In comes Hannah Montana. We will see the musical lanes, but they did it quickly, so they're not going to lose too much. HY, he can solo this lane versus Tidehunter. They can rotate those supports wherever they want, pulling in the safe lane, supporting Loaded down there, or heading mid to help. Really, they don't need them. They don't need them here, but if they have them here, they may be able to get some kills.
A lot of pause shots being exchanged for now here. Hannah on the top lane, you're right. He definitely could handle it, but anytime the Venomous Gale hits him, he's dead. He's literally dead. Kofi plus Venomous Gale is no joke. And nice pull here being done by Zenith to make sure to deny and, of course, pull him away from the tower if he wants to get farmed.
Yeah, middle lane, it's Ice soloing, in fact, as the Exort Invoker up against Jo and Ix Mike. And so far, pretty passive start to the lane. Early on, Invoker will be fine here. But once Refraction starts leveling up and the denies factor in, they're actually going to go on the offensive now. Is there meld? No, just side blades. Ice taking some good harassment. He has opted for Sunstrike already. They really want to find the kills. Tidehunter can be brought down in this lane. But if they want to, I really think if they just want to leave the Morph lane alone, they can do that too. The trade-off here is going to be Tiny getting some decent farm on the bottom lane. 5-1 for him already. And he's doing it in the off lane.
Yeah, but Jo getting the farm mid lane is a little bit more important for me. You talked about a Sunstrike build and the fact that they can get a lot of kills. That's definitely true on paper, but I feel like who are you actually going to kill? Because only lockdown that they have is on the top lane. There's no other setup anywhere else.
Right.
And because of that Sunstrike build, yeah, sure, he could do a pure damage all over the map, but it's just on Hannah.
That's why I think it might be the right play here for Zenith to just rotate towards the mid lane, even do some pulling bottom. But so far, they're sticking with the tri-lane. And in fact, nope, sorry, we see a TP out. Freedom, going to rotate down bottom. Now it's a Queen of Pain and an Aged Apparition. But they are up against some fearsome chain stun. Fluff and Stuff and TC already hitting level 2. The harassment will be stronger for Zenith, but I think the kill potential goes the way of Complexity in this lane.
I definitely agree. I mean, sure, they could drop Poison and Kofi, but when the nukes are coming, it's Avalanche Toss, it's the Edict, as well as the Split Earth. But for now, Harass on the mid lane. We kind of alluded to the Templar Assassin does pretty well to Invoker, but you want to quickly summarize why she's a lot better than Invoker?
Well, even though Invoker has the better base damage with Exort, well, even though he has some pretty good base damage, I should say, and then the Exort giving him a lot of plus damage, TA can ignore that because of Refraction. Also, having the offensive Refraction charges allow you to last hit very easily. Normally, when you have low range like TA does, you run in, you take a lot of harassment. But in this case, he's not going to take too much harassment. In fact, he can dish it out. you need damage over time to deal with TA, or you need multiple heroes. That's really the only two ways. Oh, TC spots Loda, but not quite ready to go in. The downside to this, normally when TC is getting that safe farm, he's doing it in the safe lane, and so there's a lot of pulls. He's getting more levels. His levels will be slower in this game.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Queen of Pain, he's going to get farmed regardless. Just how quickly he's going to get farmed. Like we mentioned, I think Queen of Pain's been picked almost every game today so far. Again, very momentum-based hero. If you drop a kill instead of getting a kill, it slows you down so much.
Hasn't been winning too many games, though.
Has not, yeah.
The middle lane, in fact, you can see already, Jo 17-2. It's almost like he's had the lane to himself, getting so much farm in this lane. And it's not that Ice is playing badly, it's just not really a good matchup for him. Venomancer is finally going to head towards mid, but XY is checking the rune. If he gets something good, maybe they'll look to set up a kill. Unfortunately, there's no detection.
Ooh, it's Invis rune, and suddenly Jo could be in big trouble. They're going to chase.
He's got meld.
Well, he's got meld, but forcing it, yeah, I guess forcing it out would be still pretty good. It does pick it up, and I think they're trying to set up a gank on top.
Yeah, now they're slowing down the Morph lane. Lich is going to rotate up there, so you know, again, musical lanes, both teams constantly adjusting their position, adjusting their lanes to try and find the advantage. So far, dead even in terms of gold, but a big lead in terms of experience for Zenith.
Yeah, Zenith, a little bit, because remember that it was Complexity that first switch lane, so perhaps that factoring into it right now. If Lich gets out of position, it's going to be a free kill. XY still invis, but not going to go for it. They want to just passively farm. Interesting.
Yeah, the one thing for me, as you talked about it, is Jo is getting farm, and this hero gets online so quickly. Tiny can be a very effective hero around the same level, but if you go for the TC build, you're going more for the mid to late game. TP in bottom from IX Mike. Now they want to shut down Loda. Complexity just constantly swapping their lanes here. And what are they going to get out of this? They'll get the denies. They'll make sure TC farms a little more. But now with the dual lane top, Hannah Montana being zoned back, he's already level 4, and I think the key thing is he's got his boots. So now he's very difficult to bring down, especially with the stout shield. Every time a little aspect of the game changes, the lane switch. If anybody dies, I imagine all 10 heroes are going to run halfway across the map.
Yeah, it's a big investment for Complexity to actually jet a TP like that. They're going to TP back. Wow. And
this is very odd.
Yeah.
I've never seen this many lane switches, and really they're doing okay in their lanes. I mean, the lead farmer of the game was Jo. In fact, I think all these TPs are slowing them down. Oh, top lane, waveform, as well as the Gale hitting on 2. There's your split earth, Sunstrike. Oh, it's not going to hit, but Hannah Montana in a lot of trouble. Oh no, they turn towards Fluff and stuff. This looks to be our first blood. Oh, HY is going to claim it. The musical lanes don't work out in the end. And first blood claimed by the Singaporean challengers.
Yeah, I mean, the level difference is getting, or EXP difference is getting a little bit out of hand. The first couple of lane switch, fine.
And
but
they
now,
have a Lich.
Yeah, they have a Lich. They should be leading when it comes down to deny. They're not doing so right now. Double damage gets claimed on the mid lane by Invoker. And Jo going to miss a little bit more EXP time as he's looking for the bot rune. It's a small advantage, but Zenith has it.
Yeah, it's a very, very top lane. It's Hannah Montana probably going to take a fall here. He will. And that is the power of Gale as well as Waveform. And only Morphling can do that and get out of jail scot-free.
Yep. And of course, you got to keep in mind that if you don't send enough people up top, Venomancer wards will start to chip down your tower, even push down your tower. TC on the bot lane, though, he's got 22 creep kill, which isn't much. If you compare it to Morphling as well as Invoker, he's actually pretty slow when it comes down to farming.
Yeah, I mean, TC and Jo not having the amazing start they had last game. They're still getting something accomplished. They're not doing horribly, but it's not the dominating, overwhelming performance we saw. The one thing I'll say, and maybe why we're seeing the musical lanes, is Zenith had 3 heroes that really need to be kept down. The Invoker, the Queen of Pain, and the Morphling. This is sort of what we saw out of Orange in the last game. If you don't have the much harder carry late game, which Tiny can be a pretty powerful late game carry, but he's not obviously stronger than these 3, especially not the Morphling. As we see bottom lane, Ice Spike, there's a Sunstrike. It's going to hit. Incinerated by Ice, and he gets gold and experience for that.
Nice aim here for...
top lane, waveform out by HY. No, he'll be okay.
Nice aim here for Ice. He doesn't need to be there. He will get the kill. He will get the EXP. Jo, though, already level 6. That means he's going to have traps all over the place. And if Ice gets slow, he could be easily brought down with the slow that trap issue. Ooh, big look at the damage here on Jo. He says, I don't mess. You get back.
There's your damage over time. We were wondering. Now that has a very long cooldown, but when it's up, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they rotate a lot. I just not sure what it actually did. They just need Tiny to get farm as well as Jo to get farm.
Yeah,
and so far, none of that has
I would
happened.
have maybe liked to see the rotations come in the form of a smoke gank rather than just TPing to the lane.
Right.
Because that way you're going to get something beyond just maybe getting the better lane matchup. And they switched so many times. Either way, that's all said and done. And its complexity is still very much in this game. It's about a 3,000 gold lead and 3,000 experience lead. Very significant, but they have a very powerful team fight lineup. This is a team, and we talk about it often, that needs level 6. You need Ravage. You have the TA traps up. Your Tiny needs to max out his combo. Now TC is top. Maybe we're going to see a toss. No, there's your Gush. They want to go for HY. This is not an easy kill, but they're going to try for it. No, they're going to back off. Yeah, and that's more time wasted.
As soon as they saw the strength lane, they realized they can't bring down the Morphling, so they back off. Fair enough. And are they going to try to push down the tower? They do have Lestrak here. And to be honest, Morphling is not the best tower pusher, but once you see those wards starting to stack up, you just know the push is not going to work. Again, they back off. Another teleport on the bot lane. Hannah, I mean, he's 5, he's almost 6, but doesn't have any mana right now.
If somebody is keeping track of these at home, I would love to find out exactly how many TPs have been used by Complexity. I believe almost as many as there are minutes in the game. Really investing a lot in trying to get the right lanes here. And we're at a point now where Hannah Montana is almost 6. IX Mike, in spite of, he's rotated a couple times, but because of that deniability, because of sacrifice, he's getting close to 6 of his own. And if they hit a good chain frost and a Ravage, they can turn this one around in a hurry. But right now, it's definitely the Radiant who have the advantage. Ice on the Invoker. Earn is picked up. Just shows you how aggressive they want to be in this game. Despite having those triple semi-carry / hard carry in the Morph lane. Oh, there's your Gale mid lane. Oh, narrowly missing. That would have been a disaster for him if that Gale hits.
Yeah, the Ice Wall would have hit it, so would the Meteor. But again, JL will dodge it out. You can see the warding here for the Radiant. A little bit better on the top lane here. Seems like HY not going to go for it. Yeah, the warding is a little bit better. It shuts down JO. JO might have to trap the Scout out the river, but every rune I feel like it's being grabbed by Ice or his teammate. So JO just have no luck. If he finds himself a haste rune or a double damage rune, he can make something happen on the side lanes, but he just haven't found one yet.
He's really on an island in this lane. They're TPing all over the place, but it's always top or bottom, never towards mid. There hasn't been any smoke eggs.
Finally, there's a haste. Yep, there's a haste on the bot, and let's see what JO will be doing with this one.
Perfect rune for him to pick up. And it looks like he's going to pick it up and head back mid. I think what he's going to do is just hold on to this to counter gank. I don't know that we're going to see him leave the lane because it's a much bigger investment. You can be spotted by wards, which they have a couple of top. Really wanted to protect TC. Wherever TC is, the wards generally will follow him. But there's a lane ward behind the tower. Maybe looking to set something up here. Or sorry, that is a Radiant ward.
You know what? One thing that's very different from this game and the previous game is that Zenith is playing a little bit more passively. Their lineup does not require them to dive in like, you know, the CK as well as Alina. And again, like what I said in the game number 1, Complexity is very good in counter ganking. If they're not diving you, what counter ganks are there?
This is the versatility of Zenith. Yep. It's not a team like Orange where they're pretty much always on the offensive. They're okay sitting back and farming.
Right, and so JL, I mean, he had the haste rune, but he'd rather just TPs in and then use the haste rune and get like 4 kills.
Exactly.
But he can't do that right now. He's just jungling because there's no gank happening.
If nothing else, you can hold on it until the next rune spawns, and it'll pretty much guarantee you get that rune. Unless they're already camping it out. You can haste over to it. But again, it's not what you hope for. You hope to find those kills. The Ancient Apparition ult is picked up. That's going to be a constant thorn in TC side. Sunstrike as well. They wanted to go on him. The communication here for Zen's not picture perfect. The A ult hits, then they charge in a few seconds too late. The Sunstrike, not quite there. So for Zenith, not quite hitting, but again, it's pressure on the TC.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's nothing to lose for that. You miss an AI splash, you miss a Sunstrike. Sure, you just reset, wait for those cooldown, and go for again. You don't need to die for the towers.
And you're not leaving your lane.
Exactly. And the other team is constantly leaving their lane. It's a very slow and passive game, but Zenith is playing it perfectly, I feel like.
I just want to look at the level difference because I see a big experience difference, but for me, actually looking at levels, Sunstrike! TC is very unhappy about that one. He will get salved up by Fluff, but they're pretty much out of region. Level 9 Invoker, level 8 Queen of Pain, level 8 Morphling. These are the 3 core damage dealers and carries in the late game heroes for Zenith, and they are all getting something. The Morphling up to 50 CS. He was at 34 just a few seconds ago. A little skirmish up at the rune top. Not going to connect. Complexity really wants to set up ganks top, but there's constant Plague Wards. Such a nuisance that XY is being.
On the top lane here, Lord of Perhaps will be doing a little bit dive. No, just hanging out under the tower, getting a couple creeps. On the top lane, TC is going to be going for his patented phase drums build, and the movement speed is all he really wants. And kind of we talked about in the pregame where the traps synergize very well.
Here comes that AAL top. Are they going to look to go? The Sunstrike and the Gale would kill off IX Mike, but he's going to get out of it.
Again, no big deal when you miss. Just reset and try for it again, because you know Complexity. They're going to poke and prod, but they're not really going to die for big kills until JO picks up his Blink, which still dousing it away.
This Invoker almost has a 4-staff on top of the power treads and the urn. And one thing we want to keep an eye on with TA is, does she have enough damage to find quick kills? Does she have enough items to kill heroes before those supports can look for backup? Are those supports tanky? Do they have bracers? Do they have boots up as well? And for the most part, it seems like Zenith, everyone's getting some items. The Ancient Apparition getting a couple. The Venomancer XY a little bit behind, but if they can get up those basic HP items, you survive a little bit longer. You survive that initial burst, you can turn the fight around.
3 guys up on top, trying to get a kill perhaps. There's just no opening for Complexity. Who do you kill? Like a Queen of Pain or Morphling that could just wave away or blink away after the first one? Again, the third AA blast comes up on top. It's gonna, again, it kind of just whips.
Even when it misses though, it's them running away from the creep wave, missing some last hits. And the threat of it, scary as well, but in they go. They want HY. Loda gets a solo kill in Hannah Montana, but top lane, our attention is there, and they actually back off. Solo kill by the Queen of Pain. I believe Hannah did not use his Ravage. He didn't want to waste it, so it's available for the next team fight, if there is a next team fight anytime soon.
I don't think there will be. The real action that's going to start this game is when Jail picks up his Blink, and he's still 600 away from that. There's no need for the Radiant to leave their lanes. They're farming well. They're getting more XP. They're getting more gold, so they're happy.
You know, Ice, a nice little adjustment here from him. He's not going for the Exhort Max. He goes back for a couple points in Quas. This means more damage sources. You'll have 2 Forge Spirits with those auto attacks. Refraction charges are going to be hard to come by. Lurking on the high ground, the Lich as well as the Leshrac. The movement from Complexity, this one might pay off. Fluff and Stuff comes in. No Sentry Wards though. A rare moment where they're not prepared. They're not going to find that kill.
Yeah, Sunstrike Ice Blast. Oh, Fluff! Is he going to shatter? Is he going to shatter? He's getting close. He's getting close. 10% and the kill.
Top lane, wow. TC gets a solo kill. Venomancer, no, there's your Damned Strike. The regen rune. Another kill for HY. Killing spree for him, and he will get away.
Again, Complexity good at counter gank, but if you find that opening, they will not be counter ganking at all. JO still very close to that Blink, but right now Zenith has struck first. 6-1. How much gold are they leading by? 4,000. Wow.
4,000, and it's all concentrated on these high impact heroes. The Invoker, the Morphling, as well as the Queen of Pain. 2,800 gold was up on Queen of Pain. It's going to be a BKB rush, and this is trouble. What do they do to deal with this? Perhaps the TA can try and do some physical damage. The Blink Dagger, maybe if you catch Queen of Pain blinking in, you find the kill, but Ravage won't affect him. All the nuke damage won't. AAO flies in, not going to do too much. And really, this BKB to me, it's the perfect item for this game.
Well, I mean, Mel will still do the physical damage. Keep in mind that Toss will allow the Tiny to get that one physical hit in, and one physical hit from Tiny, level 16, will be a lot. So for now, it is a really good item, but you just got to keep in mind that it's going to be ineffective, you know, much later on.
Right. Later on, it won't be as effective. Yeah. Oh, here's the smoke gang.
Big dive. They have Hannah 6, exactly where he wants to be. And here we go. Do they have detection this time? We'll find out very soon.
Oh
the force tap, the gush, the Deathwing blast on 3. Where's the tornado?
Serious?
And now it's going to turn around. Hannah taking big damage. Sunstrike. Oh, what a lucky dodge from Hannah. And it's going to be fine now. But that was a 5-man gank that didn't do anything. Ice blast. Woo, that was on top.
He'll be okay.
Oh,
no, he won't. No, he won't. No, he won't. Oh, my God. And now JO taking some big damage. 5 heroes invested for a gank mid. You give up one, you get nothing. All the while, HY free farming top, Loda free farming bottom. We are seeing 3 semi-carries execute to absolute perfection right now.
Again, the versatility of Zenith, I think the boys on the front table talked about it, we talked about it. It's a completely different playstyle. They were so offensive last game. This one, they just keep defending. They keep defending, and they'll go for the pickoff.
You know, it's like if you drive a Ford Taurus and you press a button and it turns into a Lamborghini, you know, just so much versatility for this team. They can change on a dime, and with the 4-staff up, that's a big pickup.
Ice Blast on top. Oh, and Hannah, he walks out.
Man, constant, man, even when it doesn't hit.
It's like throwing those hooks. If you miss them, fine. But when it hits, you're getting kills.
And with this, it just you don't have to be there. You
right.
know, throw it from all the way across the world. HY, 2,600 gold up on him. Queen of Pain going for the BKB. What does Morphling go for here? I feel an Ethereal Blade would actually be very, very powerful, but there's a lot of nuke damage. I don't know. A BKB would be a great choice for him. whatever he wants to go for, he's getting some farm. He's not leading the way. It is the Invoker is doing so, but he's ahead. He's ahead of every single core hero for the Radiant or for the Dire squad.
Yeah, back to your question. I think Morphling going for the Daryl Blade here would be pretty good. You know, you could always give yourself a little bit of physical immunity against that TA. Mantis wouldn't be bad because he debuffs some of the slows on the Dire. But for now, you know, he's holding down Gold. He's got his piggy bank full.
And look at complexity. We talked about the efficiency in the HY got to be careful. Split up, not gonna live. We talked about the efficiency of this team. Or of LGD in the previous game, where they're always farming when the Romeo supports. And this time around, complexity, they're getting some farm, but I have to say playing a little bit more defensively than what we saw from LGD, and also not doing as much pulling. And it's also the heroes they're up against. It's a little bit harder to do it, up against the global presence of the A and the Sunstrike.
Yes, we haven't talked about that. It's a Sunstrike, it's a A. You guys seen it on the screen. TC has his phase, has his drums. The blink is up on Jo. But look at them. They're not initiating. They're just too afraid. Perhaps a first gank is going to happen on the bot, but you're not going to one-shot Loda, at least not right now. So well, Loda's just going to blink out just fine.
Maybe we'll see that toss into a meld. No, Jo charges in. Where's the blink? No, the blink away from Loda in time. And whenever you get Blink Dagger, you get this to find kills early. So if he doesn't find kills, that's going to be a problem. It's, of course, only his first opportunity. He can have more, but unlike the Sunstrike, unlike the Ice Blast, he's got to walk around for these. Sure, he moves there faster with the Blink, but he's still spending time walking around the map, not farming. They're going to try Ninja Roshan, pull a fast one on Zenith.
Wow, that's a big one, but they see it. They see it. I think the wards perhaps, and the Sunstrike just to make sure, and now the rotation will be coming. I love it. XY has a gem. We are 19 minutes in. He feels he's ahead. He's really getting it for TA, but also he's a Venomancer. He will be countering the wards all over the place.
You know, the one thing we talked about in the early stages of this game is it's so hard to take a big fight against complexity. And even though Zenith is posturing around the pit, they're not going in. They might even give this up and spread the base. No! Huge fight! There's your Deafening Blast! There's your Meteor! 1, 2, they want 3. Will they get it? Yes, they will. Loda cleans up another. He wants more. Triple for Ice, Ice, Ice. And are they even done yet? 4 kills in the end. I said they couldn't take a fight, then they show up and prove me wrong.
I mean, we talked about this in the group stage. Venomancer ult plus Ancient Apparition Ice Blast. When they both hit, it's ugly business.
Oh, yeah.
And it was right there. And now, very, very thankfully for Zenith fans, Roshan's at half HP, so they'll claim that one for free.
And with these Forge Spirits and Alacrity, this will be too easy. It is probably going to go that Morphling 4,200 gold up on that. The AoE from this team, the burst damage, it's too much for the team fight of complexity. And the A just, oh, nice splitter from the high ground from Fluff, but not going to accomplish too much. Eaglehorn picked up. He's got an Ethereal Blade. He's going to replicate and then TP back to base, and that means the shotgun, that burst damage is online. Couple this up with Sunstrike, couple this up with any of the other nukes. And as we look towards complexity, what is their HP looking like?
Yeah, you'd love to do that HP check. 750 here on Leshrac. Jao's got himself 900, although you know a lot of it is refraction. Lich got himself 700. All right, Ix Mike.
Even Hannah Montana could be burst down. He doesn't even have a cloak yet. Oh, Sunstrike, Sunstrike, it's gonna hit! Big plays!
I'm shaking my head right now because that was just 2 Force Spirits getting a kill with Sunstrike.
I mean, we talked about the global potential of Sunstrike and Ice Blast, but it's the Force Spirits who have that mobility as well.
Oh man, Loda pushing on the bot lane. This doesn't, I mean, last game was what, 25-9 or 29-5, whatever the order was.
Yeah.
We're seeing a 12-2 right now. Zenith.
Yeah, first complexity really stomps through Zenith, and Zenith striking right back in game 2. Of course, they haven't won yet. TC's Tiny has been known to carry games like this, but he is not having the kind of farm he's accustomed to, not by any means. Sitting at around 5,200 gold.
Look at Morphling right now. He's like, I own your bases.
Oh, this could be...
all your base belong to us.
Shadow Strike on Jo, Hannah Montana in the front lines, and the backstab. HY, he wants something. I hear a Sunstrike. I hear a Sunstrike, and it's not going to
Ix Mike. Oh, Ix Mike. No chance. Easy kill here. Tower's going to go down mid. And they do see somebody right now. Trap slowing everybody down. As Loda going to go man mode on them.
You know, you get the Blink Dagger on TA, but if your team's always dying instantly, you can't fight. You just have to run away, so it's not a bad item choice, but it's just not working out.
At least not right now. If he got a little bit earlier where he could set up a couple more ganks, it would have been okay. But right now, Tiny as well as TA, they need to get kills quick. And now everybody on the Radiant side is tanked because they're high EXP. They got high HP items.
Right. You know, you mentioned Na'Vi earlier in the International 1, how they just got early control over the lanes. They knocked down towers. This feels so reminiscent. The heroes have changed a lot of these. I know at least the Invoker was not in the game back then, but the style is very similar. Pressure on all the lanes, knock down towers, constantly split farming. Everyone makes a contribution. There's no Burning who's expected to shoulder a massive load for the team in terms of the damage.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. It works.
Yeah.
But this is very reminiscent of that Navi team style in last year.
Yeah, it's working out well right now. Freedom has not been throwing those AI splash anymore, and you can.
Oh my God, the shotgun blink and you'll miss it.
I'm just gonna keep my camera on Morphle.
Yeah, just lock it on him. That's probably the way to go. Ice picks up a Scythe of Vice, and yes, that does rhyme. 4-staff and Scythe of Vice picked up. He's fearsome. And when you get behind to these heroes that have range, that have mobility, carry Tiny doesn't work because he can be kited so easily by the Scythe, the Cold Snap, the Ice Wall. I think at this point, Complexity have to force a mistake or hope that Zenith makes one. And look, they're restricted to their base. They're just not leaving. Yeah,
I mean, if you try to leave, HY will find you. You're not going to kill him. And of course, if HY does not get a kill, Ice will be doing the Sunstrike, the AI Splash is going to be follow. So the question becomes, how does Complexity come back? You know, they're up against a Venomancer who has a gem, so he's counter-warding. The TA is going to be rendered somewhat ineffective due to the Ghost Scepter. So the question is, how did it come back?
Well,
and I'm not too sure.
When it's Complexity, you always think about smoke ganks.
Yes.
But here's the thing: is even if you find one, the other carries can just push the other lanes in. So you're not going to get too much out of those kills. It is a smoke gank for Complexity. No surprises here.
Right.
But also, finding the kills is very difficult. This Invoker is a 4-staff. He's got 1,600 health. A Scythe device as well. The Blink BKB from Loda. That's not an easy kill. And of course, Morphling. We know what an escape artist he is. There's so many heroes that are hard to kill.
Oh, they're going to run into the entire enemy team. Hannah Montana's in
front.
Huge. Focusing down the Veno is going to be the easy target. And here we go. The Ravage Gate will hit on everybody. The blinking, the melting, the Chain Frost. Oh, but XY still alive. He drops his ultimate. Queen of Pain doing work here. Fluff is going to be going down. Will he? Yes, indeed he will. And now the follow-up. Venomancer. The right clicks here from IX Mike. Support versus support. IX Mike's going to win that one. Nicely done here, but TC, he's going to get a pick off. HY. Oh, the Chasers getting chased. That's a team wipe.
And that was a perfect fight for Complexity, too. That just wasn't enough. And IX Mike on the back foot.
IX Mike says
don't chase the Lich. Give him a break.
Oh, man. Don't chase your towers. So look at Lich. Oh, no. He's so sad. He's trying to run.
No boots.
Oh, no. Don't do that, guys.
Oh, that's cruel. That is cruel. HY. Have you no soul, man? Have you no soul?
HY says, I want the Singaporean chants. Where is it? Singapore. No, guys. All right. He pushes your tower mid.
Tough crowd tonight.
Yeah. Here we go.
They win a fight. They don't get racks, but HY runs in. He might take a fall here. He wants to pop his Aegis, I think. Oh, the AO. It's going to hit. No. Morphing to straight. There's your Sunstrike.
Oh.
Narrowly missing. And he doesn't lose the Aegis. Wow.
I think he wanted to lose Aegis.
Yeah, I think he wanted to, and come back and kill some heroes.
Yeah.
That probably would have been a mistake since they're all respawning.
Yeah, but you know, he'll take it back home and make sure he gets a lot of HP. We haven't checked on the item progression because deaths is just happening everywhere. So let's quickly look.
It's a depressing look, I gotta say. Some massive. Even you talked about XY with the gem. He has lost that since then, but he's got a Ghost Scepter up. So even these hard supports, getting plenty of items, mech up on Freedom, as well as the Urn. This is what happens when you're dominating this hard, is people are going to get farmed no matter what.
Yep. In terms of the gold, oh, that's depressing as well. We're getting close to almost doubling, about 17, 18,000 gold lead here. In terms of EXP, it was really the Radiant leading all the way, but now it's skyrocketing out of control. TC nowhere near his carry build. You can see that he's trying to finish his axe after. I hear Sunstrike. Where?
Nope.
They see Hannah.
Not going to get. I think that's just an intimidation Sunstrike. That one. I didn't see anybody too low. Dire's Courier goes down. Oh, did Ice just snipe that? I believe he did with those Forge Spirits. Wow. As though they didn't have enough gold already. I mean, it's almost. In fact, yeah, it's almost double right now.
Yep, it really is. HY says, if you don't fight us, I will get more items. Mantisal is going to be his next. And look towards him again to go into the enemy jungle to go for a little bit of pickoffs. By the way, I love this ward. If you're wondering what the hell this is about, this is to scout out, you know, incoming ganks from the Morphling, because Morphling is a ganker now.
Not just, yeah, it's to scout out incoming ganks from him as well as the other heroes. I mean, the Invoker might even be scarier right now with the Scythe device up. Loda going for one on his own. There's your shotgun mid lane. HY. Now they go into JO. JO will be forced back. No, Scythe device. Definite blast. Meteor. The right click. They get him. They turn two. A double kill. Godlike for HY. HY And can they go high ground now?
I definitely think they can. They still have the Aegis of Immortal. You can see that most of the key items are already done. Perhaps they're waiting for level 11 on these two supports, but I don't think they need it at this point. HYHY is just so big. He could pop his he could deliver his Manta soon and get to work.
And they're going to start pressuring that lane. Venomancer, a nice hero to have here. You can scout things out with the Forge Spirits as well as the Plague Ward. Ice, ice, ice. 1900 gold picked up. They have a couple of heroes with buyback, I believe. In fact, everybody does. Well, all three key heroes on the Radiant Duo, I should say. Tiny, the only one who does for complexity. We'll have to see if that comes into play. Shotgun on the Lich, and he goes down too.
Oh, the toss in, the Ravage. Will that be initiated? But the wall blocking everybody. Sunstrike, that's going to hit on Fluff. Fluff is done. Hannah's going to be next. One right click here from HYHY. Beyond Godlike, double kill here. And Jo, he's trying to do some work by himself, but GG goes the other way, 25-4.
Wow.
Zenith strikes right back. We're going to go to our third game today.
Game 1, a big stomp for Complexity. Game 2, a big stomp for Zenith. Will we see a big stomp in Game 3? Or will we see a very back and forth affair? I'm hoping for it. A knockdown, drag out fight. It's coming up soon, folks. But for now, it is Zenith. Have to be feeling pretty confident, turning the series back to 1-1.
And as the players round out, they get a huge round of applause for their big performance. Let's look at the Morphling, 11-0-2.
Wow.
You know what the 2 means? Somebody KS'd it.
Someone
it's
KS'd
really
it,
13-0-0.
This is where if you're HYHY, you slap around the support heroes a little bit in the back room, you know, get them in line. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, great performance from everybody here on Zenith. But let's not count Complexity out here.
Oh, definitely not.
We saw how strong they could be in Game 1. And this is Fluff, a really drafting genius, I have to say. Runs crazy strats. And for now, we'll go back to the front tables. It's 2GD, Nebula, Bruno, as well as Gods.
Back to you guys.
So there you see, we have now Zenith bringing it back to a 1-1 game. I think their performance was way more dominant than the first match.
Oh, really? Expert, 25-4.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
Man.
Do what with it you will.
Are you a professional Dota 2 analyst?
Well, when I'm sat next to you, yes.
Oh.
But
that was very nice. Anyway, yeah, I mean, Zenith looked amazing. That was really well played. I feel like the Morphling was kind of the key to this. Obviously, rushing the Ethereal Blade gave him a lot of shotgun power. But in general, I mean, 25-4, you really can't argue with too much there. And I actually felt like I really liked Complexity's draft. I don't know how you felt about it, but I actually thought it went pretty well.
Yeah, Complexity's draft was good, but, well, I mean, mentioned before the game, HYHY Morphling is his signature here. It's one he's really shined with. He hasn't played all that well throughout the group stage, but it's suddenly come up, and that's why I picked him for my fantasy league team, and he's finally gave me some points after a disappointing group stage. Yeah,
11-0, HYHY. Bruno, got anything you want to add?
Not only 11-0 in kills death, but also 11-0 when he plays Morphling. He never loses. So
oh, wow, really?
Oh, really? He's 100% Morphling.
11-0.
Well, I've got a really solid strategy for Zenith in Game 3 then. All right, bear with me. I think they should pick Morphling. I'm just saying. 11-0.
Hey, man, I feel like you got this from me during like our pre-game for Game 2. I mean,
oh, was that
nothing original coming out of you, Nebula? What's up?
No, not at all. Not at all.
All right. Oh, go on. Did you want to say something else amazing?
I was actually just going to say that JO's TA has played really well. TC's Tiny is very famous as well. I mean, I think they got a lineup that they were happy with. They just got completely outplayed.
Yeah, and we can take a look at one of the clips from the game then, from game number 2, a team fight, which we can only assume whatever clip we go to is going to go in favor of Team Zenith. So let's check it out.
Yeah, there wasn't really a whole lot in favor of Complexity.
No, there really wasn't. This one was actually Complexity getting a great initiation with that Tide Ravage, but even with the perfect initiation, the BKB on Loader here, we just see, I mean, the fight gets turned around very, very quickly. Zenith are just too far ahead in terms of items and farm at this point in the game.
Yeah, I asked Mike doing his best to get some work there as he does take down the Venomancer. It's a small victory, I think. I think at this point they're just too far behind. I mean, you've got HYHY. He's got the Ethereal Blade. I'm not sure if he actually has finished any Manta Star at this point.
Mike.
Not by this point.
Poor IX Mike. Look at this. He actually, I think there's a chance if he hadn't nuked this creep, he might have just died to this.
He finally gets his boots at 24 minutes. I mean, that's something to applaud. He did have a very rough
But
game.
HYHY, no mercy. Look at this. No rest for the wicked. Just immediately assassinates him.
That's a
right back
familiar
into the
side.
push.
I feel HYHY just had IX max number that game.
So we put a lot of focus on HYHY, but we really have to talk about is it X Freedom playing the Ancient Apparition?
Yeah.
And also I can't remember who was
Ice
playing.
Ice.
That really seemed that when they were ahead, it was really scary for Complexity to leave lanes or just feel comfortable.
There was one moment where they actually 5-man ganked Ice at the mid lane. It went horribly wrong. One deafening blast hit the entire Complexity squad, sending them back, and then in comes the Sunstrike, Ancient Apparition Ultimate. They get a return kill, and that wasn't the only time they used that combo to net themselves some kill anywhere on the map. And both those two plays really did play well as well.
Now, what do you think about Jo on the TA? Because he finally got his Blink Dagger, and we saw nothing.
Well, the biggest problem he did get an early haster, and I don't really think he capitalized on it much. They did have a number of solutions to him. Obviously, Meteor, it has a long cooldown, but it does prevent most of the dispersion damage, so he's going to take that. Dispersion, that's the wrong skill. Venomancer Gale as well also shuts it down. So they had a fair amount of counter picks, but that wasn't really the story to me. The story to me was how well that lane went for Ice, despite the fact that TA, I really think TA should win that lane.
I think TA has a slight last-hitting advantage, but Invoker come mid-game can get more involved a lot earlier on. So it's a situation where Ice used that early game hero advantage to actually net his team kills around the map, whereas Geo had to keep on farming, get the Blink Dagger up. By then, it was too late.
Yeah.
All right, and guys, remember, of course, while you're with us between the games, we are just waiting for the players to get set up and ready. As soon as they're ready, we'll be back with the matches. And if you're joining us today, even after this match, we've still got some great games coming up. We'll be moving on into EG versus IG, and then a little bit later in the winner bracket, we've got Na'Vi versus DK, and then we're going to go into the loser bracket, where it's a best of one. Lose one game, you're out of the tournament, you're out of the international, and we've got CLG versus MTW, Mouse versus eHome, TF, or Tongfu, sorry, my notes confuse me, versus M5, and Dara versus Absolute Legend. So that's all coming up a little bit later. Stay with us. We're currently in a 1-1 scoreline between Complexity and Team Zenith, so it's the final game. And do you consider it like a little bit of an upset, maybe, if it's Complexity to win this and go through? In terms of reputation from the teams?
I think coming into the tournament, I think a lot of people would have bet on Zenith given the opportunity. I personally would have taken Complexity, and I think a lot of people after watching the group stages would have bet on Complexity at this point too. I think Game 2 is a little bit worrisome though. Zenith really did steamroll them.
Yeah, well, coming into this tournament, Complexity were my favorite story. They were, a year ago, they were a team no one had heard of, not a single of their players, maybe within the sort of isolated North American community, but they have come out of nowhere, stormed the competitive scene. And a team like Zenith, they go back 5-6 years ago. People have known about them for a long, long time. They're definitely the favorites here, but Complexity looking to prove some people wrong.
All right, it seems like the game is going to be ready in just a moment. Bruno, anything we should know about going into game number 3?
Jo, pick Nature's Prophet now. You are 4-0 in the last 4 games with him. Pick him, you win.
Brilliant. Well, there you go. If he picks Nature Prophet, we can just all go on to the next game. But for the moment, we'll just say maybe he won't, and we'll go into the third and final match then of Complexity versus Zenith.
Thanks, guys, on the front desk. Appreciate it. We're back to Complexity versus Jo. And this is game... Oh, well.
Zenith.
Did I say that? Complexity versus Zenith. I'm sorry for saying that. Let's get some hype. Game 3. Game 3. And the reason we should be hype about this is the winner of this game gets money for sure.
They're guaranteed to be in the money.
The loser of this game goes to losers, and
they're one game away from going home.
Yes, yes.
So in terms of bans for Complexity, Naga Siren, Lycan, as well as Darkseer, nothing too surprising there. Invoker slips through again, and Ice will pick it up.
You know, it looks very, very familiar.
Didn't we just see this game?
I think so.
Someone fast forward.
And I mean, it feels like one-upping of strategies. I mean, we had great play from Complexity. They were counter-ganking like crazy. Zenith says, we won't gank you. We'll gank you with global spells instead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what is the response here for Complexity? They are not phased. I mean, looking at the guys in the booth, they're ready for Game 3. So let's see what the response is.
I think maybe you go to a hero that can't be dealt with as easily as Invoker.
Yeah.
Prophet. That's a good start.
I remember someone saying that, right? Statman Bruno up in the front, 4-0.
Uh-huh.
Well,